Hello everyone, this is Kaiden from Kaidengaming, bringing another MWO online commentary. Now, I'd like to start this video off just by saying that I am not the best light player ever. So do not go into this video expecting me to, go like 4-0 or 6-0. If you're already a great light player, this is probably not the video for you. If you're just sort of an average light player who wants to learn a few tricks and, get a better understanding of the game, then this is the video I'd recommend for you. I'm quickly going to ready up so the game can start faster. Now you have to know what sort of light mech you've built whenever you play a light mech. I mean, for assault mechs, yes, you also have to know what sort of mech you've built. I mean, really for any mech you've played. But, especially with light mechs, I mean, in my Jenner, I'm sort of built for light fighting. I have streaks on. I used to not mount streaks because I expected to be fighting more assaults and mediums than I expect to be fighting lights. If you don't have streaks, you should try to avoid fighting any other light mechs because you're not built for that. If you are built with a fast engine and you're not built with too much weaponry or armor, you don't want to be fighting too much. Your job is to scout. So you really have to understand what sort of light mech you've built yourself. There's not really one best light mech in the current meta, in my opinion, but you have to understand very deeply just what your mech can and can't do. Again, as I mentioned, this is sort of important with all mechs, but, oh, I didn't set my streaks up on number 2. This is very important with all mechs, but it's especially important with light mechs, because if you mess up, you will die so quickly. Now, I'm just being very passive. I'm not trying to look for anyone to take out, because my mech does not really have the firepower to be taking down some of these stronger ones. I'm going to use my jump jets to get up over here. A very important decision to make is whether you take jump jets or not. I mean, if you don't take jump jets, you have the tonnage for a lot more firepower, for more double heat sinks, for more armor, etc. But jump jets will allow you to be much more maneuverable. As you can see, I can get around here, sort of go for the base cap, and, just get some extra points for my team, hopefully. Now, if you do like playing a light mech, I would suggest playing Conquest mode, simply because it's more dynamic. I mean, in Assault mode, you sort of base cap, and then what? It's really boring. I do play both modes personally, but that's mostly because I main as an assault mech. I mean, I've done fairly well in previous tournaments, as most of you who watch my videos know. And I also, just like killing things, so that's why I don't usually play light mechs that much. But contrary to common belief, I did actually start in a light mech, and I played a light mech for a very long time, up till the Stalker came out, and then I started playing assault mechs. But yeah, I'm going to finish base capping this up. Unfortunately, base capping takes a lot longer. I mean, I understand why they did that, because it's annoying when people run by and base cap, kind of like I did. But it still makes it much more frustrating when I have to wait for it. But yeah, if you're a very bad light player, I cannot really give you tips, because usually you just sort of need to understand the basic mechanics of the game before you can, understand the more finely tuned details. What I'm talking about right now is the more finely tuned details. I mean, you should already understand why it was safe for me to jump jet up there, because, the enemy team was over by the river. You shouldn't go and, in another game, try the same thing when the enemy's right up at their base, sort of camping. Now, I see this is a wounded Centurion getting picked apart by my team. I'm going to go on the right side, not the left side, because I don't know where the enemies are. And I'm worried that if I go on the left side, they might get some pot shots off at me and hurt me a little bit. So now I blew off his shield arm. That doesn't really limit his combat effectiveness much, but he's just sort of ignoring me. I mean, that's what most people do when they're attacked by a light mech and multiple other mechs. They just sort of ignore the light mech, so you just let them ignore you and deal a little bit of damage. Now, I will admit, when I've been playing MechWare over the past few days, I've been getting a little bit of lag, actually quite a bit of lag. I'm actually even getting some in this game. I'm not sure if you'll be able to notice that, but it's making it a little bit difficult for me to play. Which sort of shows you, you don't need the greatest reflexes. I mean, I have a tendency to have good reflexes. I played a PPC sniper, I play League of Legends, I played StarCraft, for goodness sakes. So I have pretty good reflexes and, overall situational awareness. But you don't really need that. I mean, with this lag, I can hardly be very reflexed or situationally aware. I'm just sort of, finding good opportunities. I guess that is sort of situational awareness. So I still am situational aware in spite of the lag, but it's hard for me to shoot really effectively. I'm just sort of skirting around, trying to distract people, find the people which are ignoring me and take shots at them. Like, I'm going to go up to that catapult, and he's shut down, so I'm going to go into his back, take some free shots in. He's going to ignore me, probably, as most assault mechs do, or actually he's a heavy, but... So I'm just going to sort of scoot around him, and there's not really much he can do to me. My friend Sakata, which has a lot of more firepower than I do, is going to help me out. We took out his LRM, so he's basically a sitting duck at this point. And now he's dead. It seems like the enemy's built quite a fortification. I know it's technically not a fortification, for those of you who want to be politically correct. It's just a bunch of mechs, but I tend to think of a lot of things in MechWarrior in similar ways as I do RTSs, and they've sort of all set up there. So it's a little bit dangerous for us to be fighting here. I see this as another Jenner. Since I'm kitted out with SRMs, I'm going to try to take him out, because, you know, SRMs are probably the best light fighting weapon you can get in this game. Now, that's not so much true after their recent, or not recent nerf, but a long time ago nerf. Yes, they did rebuff the damage afterwards, but they no longer basically center on the CT all the time. So I was able to take out that Jenner. I'm going to back off because I took a heavy hit, probably an AC-20 or something, and lost a good portion of my armor. I don't know what build. Oh. Well, I got careless and got taken out, but still, I did a decent amount of damage. I sort of helped out my team, and hopefully my team should be able to pull out a win. As a light mech, you need to make sure not to try to make amazing plays. You don't have to try to take out the whole enemy team. Just because you're fast, here's the golden rule of being a light mech. Just because you're fast does not mean you should go ahead of your team. You sometimes want to, but as a general rule, you sort of want to hang back, occasionally go for the base cap, that sort of thing. And yeah, it looks like my team, not completely terrible, is going to definitely pull out a victory, unless this Cataphat has some amazing plays he can do. Let's see, how's the score doing? Yeah, this Cataphat's their last guy. Well, this Hunchback's lost his hit one of his legs, so he's really unmaneuverable. Let me switch to the Centurion so we can get a bit more combat action. Again, it's a lot of little things which make the difference between a good player and an average player. A good light will, you know, not just rush in there and get in the melee and take a bunch of damage like I did. That was really bad of me later. I got a little bit overconfident because I thought my team was stomping a lot harder than they were. And I got taken out carelessly, which is definitely something you should not do. As a light mech, you never want to get careless. One bit of carelessness, one bit of going in a straight line, that'll get you killed. That's another thing to keep in mind. Try not to go in a straight line whenever possible. Always be zigzagging, always be going around. So this is the first episode of just general tips on how to play your light mech. I don't know if I'll make a whole series out of this. I'll call this episode 1, but I don't know if there'll actually be an episode 2 or 3. I'm not the greatest light mech player. Link's a much better player than me, but I do think I have a decent understanding of the game. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll see you all next time.